For the longest time, I held on to the belief that our love could survive anything. That no matter how rough the storm, we would weather it, side by side, hand in hand, heart with heart. I thought what we had was solid, rooted in something real and lasting. But the moment she looked at me that night, calm, distant, resolved, something inside me cracked. Doubt crept in like a slow-moving fog, cold and creeping, stealing away the certainty I had clung to for so long. Her words weren't shouted or spiteful. They didn't explode. They landed quietly, precisely like a blade slipped between the ribs. She wasn't trying to hurt me. That was the worst part. She meant every word. That's when it hit me. Maybe I'd been wrong about us all along. The future we used to dream about, the quiet mornings, growing old together, a life of shared jokes, coffee, and whispered plans under warm blankets. It all began to feel like something distant and unreachable, like a photograph left out in the sun too long, faded around the edges. Was it ever real, or had I just clung too tightly to the idea of what we could be instead of seeing what we were? I couldn't stop replaying it all in my mind. The laughter, the affection, the easy way we fit into each other's lives. It used to feel like magic, like destiny, but suddenly every memory felt brittle. Had I been blind to what was happening beneath the surface? Had I missed the subtle signs, the tiny fractures forming beneath our picture-perfect life? She said she needed space, that she felt empty. I remember just standing there, unable to make sense of it. How could she feel so lost when I had given her everything I had to give? Was it not enough? Or had I missed something essential, something she needed and I couldn't provide? Her words didn't just hurt, they hollowed me out. They took all the air from the room and replaced it with questions I couldn't answer. And then came the final blow, the one that gutted everything. She wanted to sleep with someone else. I felt something inside me break completely. It wasn't just betrayal. It was annihilation. The woman I had trusted with every inch of my soul, the one I had built a life with, wanted to give a piece of herself to someone else. Her excuse, "It's not you, it's me." Those empty, worn-out words, muttered by people who want to escape without owning the mess they leave behind. But I felt like I was the one who failed. If it wasn't me, why did it feel like I was the one being punished? I spiraled. Night after night, my mind raced through every conversation, every touch, every shared plan. What could I have done differently? How did years of love get reduced to something so disposable? I was ashamed, humiliated, lost, and worst of all, I didn't see it coming. I thought I knew her. I thought I could read her like a familiar book. But suddenly, she was a stranger, and I was standing in the ruins of a love story I thought would last forever. I looked at our photos, smiling faces, arms wrapped around each other, frozen moments of joy, and all I saw was a lie. How could she smile like that while planning her exit? She said if you love someone, you let them go. That if it's meant to be, they come back. But what if they don't? What if the person you let go is never meant to return? I begged. I pleaded. I laid every piece of my heart bare on the floor for her to see. But she left anyway, suitcase in hand, eyes that once sparkled now clouded and unreadable. Watching her walk away felt like watching a limb being torn from my body. Slow, painful, irreversible. And then came the silence. A suffocating, hollow silence that wrapped itself around my world. The apartment echoed with her absence. Her laughter no longer bounced off the walls. Her perfume no longer lingered in the air. Every room became a graveyard of memories. Friends tried to comfort me. They said the usual things. Asterisk, time heals. You'll find someone else. Asterisk, asterisk, she didn't deserve you. Asterisk, but their words were just background noise to the screaming inside my head. I couldn't stop picturing her with him. The intimacy, the betrayal. It haunted me like a ghost I couldn't exorcise. Eventually, the pain became too much. One morning, I looked at myself in the mirror and didn't recognize the man staring back. My eyes were empty, my skin pale, my spirit crushed. That was my breaking point. Something had to change. So I started to rebuild slowly, awkwardly, painfully. A gym membership, home-cooked meals, reaching out to old friends I'd lost touch with. I took up jogging, spent mornings by the lake, learned to sit with silence without letting it swallow me whole. I threw myself into my career. I rediscovered photography, the art that once made me feel alive. Behind the lens, I found a new way to see the world. The chaos, the beauty, the stillness. It became a form of therapy. Each photo helped me piece myself back together. And just as I started to feel steady again, she came back. It was a quiet night. The kind where the world feels paused. I was sitting with a book and a cup of tea when the knock came. And there she was. Pale. Exhausted. Tear-streaked. Not the woman who left me, but someone smaller, softer, hollowed by regret. "He wasn't you," she whispered. Her voice trembled with the weight of her mistake. She told me she'd been wrong. That what she thought she needed turned out to be nothing more than a mirage. That leaving me was the biggest regret of her life. She cried. She begged. She said all the things I used to dream of hearing. That our love had meant everything. That she was lost without it. That she wanted to come home. And I stood there, heart aching, head spinning. Part of me wanted to believe her. To reach out. To hold her. To pretend that love could still be enough. But deep down I knew. Some wounds cut too deep. Some things once shattered, never fit the same again. Apologies don't erase betrayal. Time doesn't always heal what was broken. Love, real, honest, enduring love, is built on trust. And once that foundation crumbles, no amount of desperate words can rebuild it. So I didn't take her back. Not because I hated her. Not because I wanted revenge. But because I had finally learned to love myself enough to let go. Maybe love is about forgiveness. Maybe it's about second chances. But sometimes it's about walking away.